Hi and welcome to video B1 in this series of videos about autodidactical learning objects in Geogebra. My name is Jonas Hall and I'm also known as the Mad Mathematician. This series is about creating learning objects in Geogebra. Learning objects that can help a student to learn on their own. And we've focused on two types of learning objects, and this is the first one of them, the instructional part. And I'm going to start by showing you a ready-made learning object, and it looks like this. It's about second degree functions, and we're watching it now away into the instructions. To the right here we can see that there are instructions in graphics view 2. Obviously we have the algebra window, we have the graphics window, we even have the spreadsheet up, but we also have the second graphics window showing instructions, and we've got little buttons here that control what instruction to do. And if I jump to the beginning with the leftmost button, we can see that a lot of objects have disappeared, so that not everything is shown at the same time. The text here is in Swedish, but it says that a general second degree function is controlled by 3 parameters a, b and c. In the spreadsheet we have coordinates shown for the red dots. Try to vary parameter a. What does it seem to do? And there's a slider for a, and we can change it and see what happens. And as a teacher I'm sure you know what happens, but it's not obviously clear when it's like this, that it doesn't lie with a vertex in the origin. So the students may or may not pick out the essential information here. We clicked the next instruction, and it gives the same introduction, try to vary C, and you can see that the slider C appeared when we went to that instruction. So different objects here can be controlled by these buttons, and obviously if we change C, all the values change, and try to vary B, what does that seem to do? And then comes an instruction. We normally say that A decides how open the function is, and if it opens up or down. You did try negative values, didn't you? C is the y-intercept, and B determines the side movement. Top and bottom point where the function is turning is called the vertex. What happens to the vertex when you vary a, b and c? And you can see it's got a little green ring around it which turned up, and as you go on through these instructions, more and more appear in the graphics window. You can have sliders appear, you can have checkboxes appear, you can have little rings and collars and arrows and whatnot, text labels appear, and you give the instructions in graphics view 2. This is how it works. You can do Geogebra with instructions, and you can click your way forward in a controlled manner. So how do you do this? Well, we have prepared a template for you, and and it's called the comments template. It's got the graphics view window with a small set of instructions. It just says click next on the right button. Welcome to a short demo. Use the right button to show the next instruction. Excellent, now go to the last instruction. And here it tells you how you do it. To make your own instructions, show auxiliary objects, hjälpobjekt. How do you do that? Well, auxiliary objects are objects that are hidden from view in the algebra window. There's a button here that you can show, and if you don't have that pane, you can open it by clicking the small arrow. Once you have those two buttons, it's the leftmost button that shows auxiliary objects, and if you click it, all hidden objects will appear. As a default, the normal thing is that objects in the spreadsheet and texts are automatically auxiliary objects and not shown in the algebra window. But you can make any object auxiliary by right-clicking on it, selecting Object Properties and checking the bottom box where it says Auxiliary Object or hjälpobjekt. So what objects do we have here? Well, first of all, we've got a number called inum, instruction number. Currently it's set to 4, and as we go back 3, 2, 1, it changes. So obviously these buttons control the number inum. There's also a couple of texts, each one of which, if I show it, they're hidden. Notice that they are hidden. But if I show them, they turn up somewhere there. But obviously this is something else. This is a text which is defined as the instruction being shown now. And the basic definition of it is that it picks out an element in a list. Element number inum. So if inum is 1, it picks out the first element of the list. And as you change the value of inum, it changes what element it picks out from the list. What is the list? Well, the list up here is simply a list of the texts. So there's only one text being shown in Graphics View 2, and that is the instruction being shown now, which in turn picks out one of these texts. Okay, so we've got the list of texts, we've got the individual texts, we've got the number, and we've got the text being shown now. There's also a couple of texts which correspond to the text instructions and the number 1 there. Right, so let's go to the final instruction and read again. So we've viewed the auxiliary objects. Now do this. Create a new text with your own comments in Graphics Area 2. You can create them from the input field by doing something like this. Text 37 equals a text within brackets. So let's try just that. Text 67 equals quote mark. This is an instruction. Okay, hit enter and it turns up in the list here. It also turns up here, and we don't really need it to be shown. we're going to show it through the instruction being shown now variable. So we'll just hide it for now. However, we probably want more instructions than that, so right click it, select Object Properties, go to the Text tab. Here you can add more text and you can insert new lines so that you fit within Graphics View 2. This is an instruction. It is very nice to be able to, new line, do this. Okay. Okay. Close Properties window. Next, when we've done these texts, and you may want to jot down on a piece of paper what text number corresponds to what instruction. Now change the slider enum so that the maximum value is the total number of comments. Right, well, there's no slider here. Well, a slider is just a graphical representation of a number. So we go to the number enum and select Object Properties, Slider, and here we see the minimum and the maximum value. Now we've got 5 comments now, so I change the maximum number to 5. And you need to press Tab to leave the window to make Geogebra save that number. Okay, so we close that. Step 3, change the list iList so that it contains all the comments. Okay, so we double click that, or we could have chosen the Object Properties, but a double click will suffice in this case. And we add text 67 and we save that. Now the last instruction here says make the text auxiliary objects. Well, we don't really need to do that because they already are auxiliary objects. And then hide them. Well, we've already hidden it, so it's done. Try and click the next instruction. This is an instruction. It's very nice to be able to do this. Right, now the text being shown is this text, but unfortunately we haven't placed it correctly. So we need to do that, obviously. Let's go back, and for now turn off instruction being shown now. Turn on text 67. Move text 67. Hide text 67. Show the instruction being shown now. Okay, it works. You can make your own instructions this way. You may find it slightly difficult to click on these, and it's a small bug requiring you to move the cursor slightly between clicks, which is why it sometimes seems that I click and nothing happens, but normally it works fine. Okay, so that's how you create the instructions. Now, what about whatever it is you want to be teaching? That should go here, or in the spreadsheet view perhaps, or maybe even the CAS window. Basically, you start out by creating all the stuff you want to show. In the case of the second degree function, let's jump to the final instruction and show everything. Right, here's everything. If we have a look at these things, what is it that determines when they're shown? For instance, this slider delta, when is that shown? Well, right click and select Object Properties. There's nothing particular here. There's nothing there. There's nothing here. Obviously you can set the color and the style to exactly what you want, so you don't have to do that later. But the interesting point comes here under the Advanced tab. The condition to show the object is set so that it is only shown when the number inum is larger than or equal to 10. So it's not shown for instructions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. It is shown for instruction 10. Obviously you can turn things both on or off this way. You can say that it should be shown when inum is larger than 10 but less than 15. That's a way of getting rid of clutter by taking stuff away that you've passed over. Let's have a look at some of the other stuff here. For instance, the vertex point, yes, it's shown for instruction 5 or above. The zeros are shown for instruction 6 or above. The y-intercept for instruction 7 and above. The segment shown that define the little triangle, delta x, delta y, are shown for instructions 8 and above, etc. So this is how you do it. You change the condition to show object so that the object is shown at the right time. And that's all there is to it. If you don't do anything, it's shown all the time. So you can create instructions and you can make things appear when you want them to do so. You may want to ask yourself, well, what about the construction protocol? You might as well write instructions in the construction protocol. You can do that, and you can right click on the graphics window background and select navigation bar to do this. Can't you do this? Well, yes, you can, but the construction protocol picks up all sorts of little things that, you know, if you want to create all these numbers in the spreadsheet, it picks up each one of those as one step, so it's a little cumbersome. This is more intuitive and you can have greater control, and you can write bigger, larger, more extensive instructions. So that was instruction video B1, and you should now be able to create instructions for whatever you want to teach that the students can access themselves without having a teacher nearby. The next video in this series is B2, where we will go through how to make the automatic testing learning objects, where a student can test his or her knowledge that they have picked up from these instructional learning objects. So, see you then.